Hi, I'm Tiffany from Daisy Farm Crafts, and I am a crochet blogger at daisyfarmcrafts.com. That is my website. It's a place where I started sharing my own personal patterns of things that I've made for friends and family, and I'm very excited that Yarnspirations reached out to me to design something to share with you all. So today we're going to learn how to get started on this scarf that I created for them, just easy crochet scarf. It's the first pattern in a series of scarf and then a hat and then a pair of mittens. I've designed it so we're using the same stitches, the same stitch pattern the whole way through. So once you learn the scarf, you should really have no problem doing the hat and then one extra technique with the mittens. So start here with this scarf, and I really hope that maybe you'll have something to gift family or friend. But anyway, thank you again to Yarnspirations, and let's get started. Okay, let's get started on your scarf. I am using Peyton's Classic Wool Roving with the recommended hook size of a J. Got that. I also have a couple stitch markers just to make sure I can identify the ends of my rows. And you'll just need a simple pair of scissors, and if you've seen a tapestry hook, you'll want one of those to weave in your ends at the end of the project. So this scarf is worked lengthwise, so that's why you have 184 chains. For today's demonstration, I will just do 14 chains, and if you want to start there too, that is perfectly fine. I always recommend a little practice swatch if you are unfamiliar with these stitches and have never seen them before. It is such a good idea to go ahead and learn them on a small practice swatch, and then you're ready to go to make the item. All that's important in this pattern is that it's an even number. So we will start with 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. I want to start with 14 for my swatch. And just simple chains, getting us going. Let me get some slack. And our first row of the pattern is to half double crochet, starting in the third chain from the hook. So there's 1, 2, 3. And you yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3 loops. That's a half double crochet. So going ahead and inserting your hook into the top loop of the chain is perfectly fine. And just continue across the row with each half double crochet. All right, I will press pause and get that finished, and I'll meet you at the end. Okay, I've got all my half double crochets worked across, and I'm going to count and make sure that now that I just have 12. So these chain 2 never count. So my first stitch is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And now I'm going to chain 2 and turn right there. And my first stitch is what's going to be called a half double crochet front 2 loop. So in just regular half double crochet, or any stitch for that matter, you would yarn over and you'd work underneath these top 2 loops. Well, a half double crochet stitch also provides you these front 2 loops that face you. And I've chosen to make this pattern to where you work up underneath both of them. Okay, and then yarn over, pull the yarn through and kind of up a little bit, yarn over, and pull through 3. Okay, the wonderful thing why I chose that is because it magically, when you're done and you look at the back of your work on this row, you will see that a little braid has been created, or little rope look, all across the line. It creates this nice line across the back, and that's what gives you one of the lines in the scarf. And I really like that look. Okay, before we go further though, I want to encourage you, if you struggle with seeing your stitches when you come back down, I want you to turn it over and go ahead and place the stitch marker on the very first stitch that you did, so that when we come back through, you will know that that's the last stitch on the row that you need to work through. Okay, and these are just simple little plastic things I've picked up at Joann's or wherever. Anything will work. Bobby pin, safety pin, earrings, anything. Just put something there. Okay, we're going to continue working these half double crochet front 2 loop. In your pattern, if you're reading along, it is abbreviated as HDC F2L. Okay, I am at the end of the row. I'm about to work into that last stitch. I just want to make sure that you kind of have a visual about what it looks like, because sometimes when you've got that chain 2 right there, it can be a little confusing, but you still want to try and find those front 2 loops. That's why I'm encouraging you. Actually, I should have put a little stitch marker in those before we, when we got started. Okay, always chaining in 2 with this pattern, and they never count as stitches. You're always just working into the first stitch right there. Okay, this is what I call the cluster row. We are on the 3rd row of the pattern, and you see this huge long abbreviation, HDCF2L cluster. Trust me, it's not that hard. It's just the abbreviation looks scary. Okay, yarning over just like we've been doing, going up underneath those front 2 loops, yarning over, pulling up a loop, sorry. Now, simply repeat that action. Yarn over, go through those same front 2 loops, pull up a loop, and now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loops on the hook. And pull through. You've made a little cluster. Now to finish this stitch off, the thing I wanted to do to really make sure that little cluster pops out is the next stitch needs to be a single crochet. But you've got to work the single crochet in the same manner, which would be in the front 2 loops. So in the pattern, don't be afraid, it's SCF2L. So single crochet, front 2 loop. Just like that. But it's a regular single crochet. Half double crochet cluster, I'm yarning over for the 2nd time, inserting my hook, and then pulling through all. And then alternating the next stitch, single crochet, front 2 loops. Yarning over, pulling up a loop. There we go. Back to my cluster. Just repeating the same actions. Pulling through all 5, and then a single crochet in the front 2 loops. Okay, I'll finish this row out, and I'll meet you back if you want to push pause and finish your row. Okay, I'm back to the end where I placed the stitch marker, and I should have put one at the first. I still can go back and place one over here. I think I'll do that for you too, just so that you'll see. I wanted to place this one on that very first cluster that we made. It just comes in so handy when you come back. And now I know for sure that this is where my single crochet needs to be made. Okay, just until I can really be sure what that last stitch looks like. You want your sides to be straight, and this is the foolproof way to do it. Okay, always it will end in a single crochet. Chaining 2 and turning. Now, this is the one row we really essentially are going to still be working half double crochet front 2 loop, except for when we work into those single crochets, there's only 1 loop. So it's on the pattern, we wrote it out as a half double crochet front loop. So don't let that confuse you. But then when you do work for the cluster, you've got to find those front 2 loops right there. Okay, front loop. Sometimes I find that, I learned to read patterns the best is when I did have a video to kind of go along with and just have people explain the abbreviations. But once you can Not be afraid of those. Well, okay, maybe this is just me, but I was always afraid of those abbreviations, and I thought, it's too complicated. But give it time, and you know, for some reason, it kind of just all really starts to make sense. There's, in my main mind, you know, really only 3 stitches: the single, the half, and the double. Of course, there's a treble where you yarn over, but you know, everything is almost a, you know, variation off of that. But okay, I'm to the end of my row, and look at that. Very happy I placed that right there, so I know to work under these last 2 loops. Okay, you've just made it through. That's it, guys. Everything else for the next 3 rows is the exact same stitch. It's the half double crochet, front 2 loop. Okay, so 2 more rows of this actually. We just completed the first row of it. This is the second row, and I'll do another row after this, front 2 loop. And that is the basics of this pattern. And it's the same one if you want to make a hat. And then the mitten pattern coming up in the 3rd of this series, I just teach you how to half double crochet all in the round in order to make the thumb for a cute little mitten. You gotta just, but the basic hat is still, you know, just a rectangle that you'll make, and then we'll sew up the sides and gather the top. Really simple, cute. All right, I think you are on your way. I will be chaining 2 and turning. I will work 1 more of that front loop, and how you'll know that it's time to work another cluster row is when the clusters are facing on the bottom. That's how you'll know. So you'll go down here and you'll start again. All right, I am always available to answer questions that you may have. Email me. I am Tiffany@daisyfarmcrafts.com. I'd be happy to help you, or simply, you know, leave comments if you need help. But I hope you enjoy this pattern. And oh gosh, I'm forgetting one more thing. I want to show you how I attach the tassels, just in case it's not clear in the pattern. So let me just clip me a little fringe here, because sometimes you've got the diagram in the pattern, but it can complicate it, and it's really, really, really simple. So all I did is cut a length, maybe about 8 inches, fold it in half, and then I insert my hook at the bottom of, you know, where the fringe is going to be, and I'm just going to pull it through like that. Pull out quite a big loop, set my hook down, open it up, and then I pull through. And that's it. I just tighten it. This yarn is so nice, and it will stick against each other, and so it's not going to come out at all. So I think you'll enjoy it. Let me get the scarf for you so you can see. And I haven't added the fringe yet on this one, but the one in the picture does have the fringe. So anyway, thank you so much, and good luck on your scarf.